Okay.
Got it. Welcome, welcome. We have our free-spirited conversation today, and we're excited to have this December 30th. It's almost the last day of the year,
It
and
is. Oh, no, it's
so
not. It's Friday.
it's Friday. It's Friday, and we're here and we're live, and it took us a little while. There's some gremlins in Zoom, obviously, that aren't working with us. So here we are. And it's going to be an exciting conversation today. It's going to be a wild, free-spirited conversation about the word of the year. And there's so much behind that word of the year. My name is Janine McJannet. I'm a hypnotherapist and a integrative health coach and a poet because I love words. And so this is a really fun time of the year to do this. And we get together like this and we have a conversation once a week. And that's our intention, is to have fun and to be playful and to talk about patterns and habits and life in general. So that's Janine, and I'm coming in from the Yukon. If you're here, let us know where you're coming in from. And if we're going to have a little Q&A at the end. So we'll go, half an hour or so. And I'm going to just pass you over now to Dr. Brenda to introduce yourself, and then we're going to dive in.
Okay. Well, now I have to add another term to what I do. I'm Dr. Brenda. I'm a sociologist, a financial coach. I am the founder of Gutsy Women Finances Community. I'm on a mission to help women build financial freedom so they can do whatever the hell they want to do. And I'm going to say I'm also a writer. I love to write. And that's a big part of what I do. Adventurer. And I'm coming at you. I winter at South Padre Island in Texas, so I'm probably need to dump this sweatshirt pretty soon because it's warm enough. No complaints here. Hey, you're on mute, Janine.
Yes, it is warm enough there. It's warm enough here too. I'm on mute. So yeah, this is going to be good. Word of the year. And that's it. We were sort of having a conversation, a free-spirited, telepathic conversation about what we'd talk about today. And word of the year came up. And I've been thinking about it the last few days. Like it's an important time. I haven't always chosen a word of the year. And what is the word of the year? And what does it mean? And how can you get it? So we're going to divulge our words of the year, and we'd love to know what your word of the year is. But I thought it might be interesting just to have a little conversation about what really is behind creating a word of the year and where does it come from. And I happened to come across an article just yesterday that said where it came from. And I'm just trying to find that information right now. I think it was from Germany. Word of the year. I can't find it, so I'm just going to just shoot it off because this is raw and wild. In like the 1700s, and then the American peeps picked it up last century, and it had some sort of political hold to it in words of the year. And so then it started to become more and more popular. Your eyebrows are furled.
Well, you know what? I didn't really hear word of the year until I became an entrepreneur, and I met with I'd have a weekly meeting with local entrepreneurs, and one of the activities that we did, this was in 2019, was do word of the year. Yeah. I never had or even heard of word of the year until then. So, what about you? When did you first start doing a word of the year?
Same. So it was about 3 years ago, and I thought, oh, this is fun. This is playful, and that's what I'm all about. It was just like, let's find a word of the year and see how we can, stand by it. But what I noticed from choosing that first word of the year, which was 3 years ago, was, and I think my word was focus then. Obviously, I didn't focus on it that much, but it was just like, it was a word, and it was there, and I sort of wore it like a badge of honor. My word of the year is focus. And it's just like, yeah, that's awesome. I'm going to do it. But I noticed that, towards the end of the year that I didn't really integrate it into all of the areas in my life. It was a word of the year. And so my mindset now is completely different on what a word of the year can actually do for you when you have that.
Well, yeah, that's interesting because I mean, my first word of the year would have been for 2020.
Yeah.
And I was going through a huge upheaval in my life that I created. I mean, I knew I just bought an RV at the end of December, in December of 2019, and 2020. My house was going up on the market in January, and my word was brave.
Right.
And I hung on to that word all year long because this was some scary shit, to trade in your house, leave everything that you've known for 18 years and hit the road. So when you came up with Focus, or when you created Word of the Year that first time, was there something going on in your life that, like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to grab onto this word and see where it's going to take me?
Well, I think the pandemic really burst out this word because there was so much isolation and so much exclusion and so much just fear that was mongering. How can we get out of it? So yeah, I found it inside of me, but I didn't play it fully. And that's an interesting thing that I noticed. It's because a lot of my patterns were around, you know, prepare for things and then don't do. So procrastination may have been my it could have been a
Oh,
word
oh
that I
shit.
chose, but I don't want to choose a negative word, right?
No.
Um, but I just found it. The German Word of the Year tradition started in 1971, but the American Dialect Society started one for the USA in 1990. Right now, there are many dictionary and linguist groups that assign a Word of the Year for the country. For 2022, Merriam-Webster assigned the word gaslighting, but they did it at the end of the year. So they looked back and said, okay, what's the word of the year? But the intent of using the word of the year now is focusing on the year ahead. What can we do to help create who we want to be?
Yeah, and
Yes.
their Word of the Year is pretty negative. It's
Yeah.
something that comes up in the media. So I like to focus on growth. I
Yeah.
mean, what do we need to move past some of the hurdles that we've had this year to get into next year? Now, I, you know, I've had, so my first year was brave, I've got this desktop. I built this desktop in the RV, and I took my wood burning kit and I made a quill, and I have Be Brave on it. That's how important it was. It was it was a reminder, especially as I, sat along the roadside, busy freeway with a bad tire. Be brave, Brenda, be brave.
You can do it. You can do it.
So it was very personal. It was more about my personal life. And then the second year, 2021, my word was bold. And I felt like when I started my business, I'm an academic. I've got the academic background and, the researcher. I just figured I would build content and people would come and find it and love it. And I love building content. I did not realize that my business was my personality. And so the be bold part was just like, you know what? I'm a bad faker. I can't play poker worth crap. Everything's on my face. I just have to be bold and put myself out there. Some people are going to love me. Some people are going to hate me, but I have to be bold to step out there, let my personality come out there. That was more of a business decision. And this last year, 2022, I feel like I have the word that encompasses my personal and my business. And my word of the year has been magic. And I've been able to get rid of some of the things that I thought I was going to be doing with my business. I've been able to come back and focus on the financial freedom piece and the time piece that's so valuable to women. And I feel like I have all the elements in place, but I don't quite have the compound, that I can put into the cauldron and the sparks are going to come. And then with my personal, my RV life, magic is out here wherever I go. And so that word, I've loved that word for the entire year, but it encompasses my business and my personal, which is really kind of tricky to do.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
where did you go from focus?
Well, from focus, I don't, this is how not important it was to me, because it was just like, it was like a label that I had on me. This year is really different, because I've learned a lot more in the past 12 months, because learning has been my unwritten word of 2022, learning. And so I'm at a place now where I want to move, I want to groove, I want to have fun, I want to, be successful, I want to just fly. And what I came across was, the word of the year isn't just a label. It's not just something you can, you can write affirmations and you can write notes everywhere, but you have to be able to take that word, an action word, and just be able to allow it to come into all of your areas. So it will permeate. This is from an article I read too. It will permeate your entire life, right? So
Okay,
it's not just
stop. What's been your word of 2022? What's the word of this current year?
I can't remember. This is exactly why. It's at home on a piece of on a yellow sticky note above my desk.
Wow.
See? Because
Wow.
I've been all over the map. So I can't wait to disclose my 2023 year, because this is like the rebirth. I'm so busted for not even knowing, right?
Yeah, you're busted.
What
Okay.
it's gonna do
Unveil 2023 for us.
But first of all, I want to be able to say that this word is not just a label. This word isn't something that I aspire to. This isn't just something that I can show off or carry around in my handbag. This word is going to permeate my and yours, whatever word you choose, your entire life, and affect everything you do. So I was choosing it from a perspective of just business. And that's why there was the dissociate, right? And because my personal life, of course, we have personal life, which is, find that balance, find that harmony. And so it can affect everything from how you react to other people, how you care for yourself, self-care, and how you prioritize everything in your business and your life. So I'm going to unveil my word right now, because I've been playing with it. I've been playing with fun words. Oh, that's dazzling. That's phenomenal. And I said, no, that's the cover. That's the cover it all. So I wanted to dig down and really understand what I wanted to integrate into all of the areas of my life in 2023. And so over the past week, as I do at the end of the years, I've been doing a values exercise, just re-looking at what my top core values are and understanding them. And of course, you can choose a value to be part of your word of the year, but why do that when you can choose something that you can integrate into all of your values? So my word of the year is, are you ready?
I'm ready. Come on.
It's intentional. Intentional.
Good.
Because I've also learned that there's different levels of intention. And that's what was happening to me in the past. I was at this surface level intention, not understanding what the hidden intention was behind it. So now I understand those two levels, and even further is the created intention. So with each of my core values, I've got an intention to integrate them into my life. I've got this really cool, I have to show this if you haven't seen it before. It's called Live Your Values Deck, and it's on sale at Amazon or wherever. I have nothing to do with the company, but it's like 87 different values that you can pull out.
Wow,
right?
that's pretty cool.
It's lovely. It's a lovely deck. So here's one for knowledge. I'd say that's what I really strived hard in last year. And you just instinctively go and you lay them down. And on the back, there's a list of things that you can do to integrate it into all the areas of your life. It's so cool.
And
you can play with it. So it's not who you want to be, right? These values aren't who you want to be. These values are who you are. And your word of the year is how you want to be able to, take your values and really use them. You know what I mean?
I think of the word of the year as sort of the perspective I want to take, the way I want to look at the world.
Mm-hmm.
And also like the be brave. Man, I needed to be brave in 2020.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, just a reminder of myself of I can do this. I got this.
Mhm.
So, but like the magic is the way I'm looking at the world.
Mhm.
You know, it's about gratitude. It's about mindfulness. It's about paying attention to where I am, not just my personal life, but my business life. It's about knowing that I'm the magician. I might need a little help here and there, but I'm the magician.
It's internal, right? It's who we are, it's our perspective, it's our understanding, it's the path that we
Yeah,
want to choose.
yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it's a theme. It's a
yeah,
theme. That becomes the theme.
yeah. And like the big question is how can you play with your word of the year in everything you do? Like we talked about business and home, but if even if you narrow it down, how can you apply it to your goals, your daily waking up, your rituals, your
True.
plans? How can you
That's
put
a
it in
good
there?
point. Yep.
Yeah. So it's important to have it. Like you can create your word, feel the passion for it. Passion could even be a word. Like you can just Google words of the years and you can have a list of them, and you can play, but what really resonates with you is
Yeah.
going to make the difference. You can
Yeah.
make a Canva clip on it and put it on your phone, because how many times do we look at our phone, right?
Yeah. I
Well,
mean,
there it
for
is.
me, it's been big. I mean, it's the word of the year has really been
Yeah.
central to a lot of what I do. When I forget, when I get into the routine, or when I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm kind of bored, I keep thinking, okay, there's magic all around. I got to keep looking for that magic. And so it's
And there's
been,
magic within.
and there's magic within. And so,
Yeah.
like one of my affirmation is I have everything I need to have
Yeah.
this incredibly successful business. I've got all the elements. I've got everything lined up in the cauldron. The cauldron is bubbling.
What's your word? I'm excited.
Okay. Uh, all right. So I had a word in the fall of the year already because I'm a procrastinator, right? I mean, I come up with things before they're due, before they're even assigned.
You are a
So
planner and an
I
excellent
came up
planner.
with a word, and quite honestly, I wasn't feeling it. And then when we talked again
Yeah.
last week, I'm like, oh, maybe abundance. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not feeling it. And the
Yeah.
thing is, this is a free spirit conversation, right?
Yeah.
So we're
And
free
we move.
spirits. So a free spirit, you don't have to go with all the rules. The truth of it is, magic has not restricted itself to the 12-month calendar. The
Right?
magic is carrying over into 2023. So my word of the year, there's a caveat here, okay? My word of the year is magic.
Oh, a double
I've
doozer.
I've 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 got to keep the magic going, and partly it's my business is I've brought in some people that I believe can really help me create that magic. I just need I've got to get the show in order and the audience to line up. So the magic, I love the word. It's going to continue, but I plan to add another word or maybe replace it as I feel it. And that other word would be wonder. Because when we're talking here next year, I want to, I'm looking for my photo here. So wonder is a feeling of surprise mingled with admiration caused by something beautiful, unexpected, unfamiliar, or inexplicable. Because I want to come back a year from now and say, my business, I'm looking back at my business and wonder because all of that fireworks, all of that magic has happened. I'm looking at my road travels and all the things that I'm going to see. I'm going to be headed up to California and Colorado and Boundary Waters, and I'm going to be like, it's just been another looking at the world with wonder. So
Mm,
again, it's something that will fit both of my worlds, my business and my personal,
yeah.
but the magic continues to happen. So calendar year or not, the magic is 2023 too.
Good.
You know,
I'm excited. Yeah.
I just turned 59, and it's like, okay, you know, I'm going out of this decade with magic and wonder, you
So
know.
you chose two words. I see.
Well, the wonder, you know, we'll see how it goes as the year develops. So it's really, you know, magic is my word,
Yeah.
and when things start to take off and
Mhm.
the magic is all in place, then it's time to maybe be reflective and look at everything with wonder, because everything is in sync.
And you bring up a good point, because we talk about the calendar year, and what is January the 1st? It's a psychological time when we can restart and refresh. So when I did that values exercise, I came up with 13 core values. And yeah, it's just like the word of the year. You can have one word of the year, and how can you apply it? So monthly themes or monthly words of the month or whatever, it doesn't matter, as long as you have something that pulls you along, that
Exactly.
you can
Yeah. Yeah.
achieve and accomplish.
Right. I mean, January 1st is an artificial cutoff. It's a great exercise. And
Yeah,
it's helped me, you know, think about the year and the year ahead.
yeah,
But, you know, the fact that I've got a word that doesn't fit into the calendar year, and it serves me well, it's
yeah.
serving its purpose, and I love it. Um, you know, break the rules, break the damn rules. That's
Yeah,
what we're about, right?
that is
But
breaking the rules.
you're right. I mean, people have a word of the day. You've done that. I'm
Oh,
like, oh, my
totally.
word of the day is,
But
and
how,
then word of
and
the week, word of the
yeah,
year, word of the month, whatever it is that's going to drive you forward. That's
it's
the
like,
point. Keep moving forward.
yeah. And we're going to fall back, but it's like waking up every morning. You have a choice, right? You can be happy or you can be sad. It is a choice. So what can you do if you want to be happier? And I use that word loosely. What do you want to be if you want to be more successful or more abundant? What can you do specifically that day with everything that you've got going on, with your work, with your family, with your life? Like, what area? And I always revert back to the circle of life. And I can drop an image of this in the chat box later, but we've all got areas in our life. There's our business, there's our home environment, there's our creativity, our spirituality, there's our finances. How can you apply your word of the year to each of those different categories, and what can you do? And on a daily basis, you can wake up and you can, whatever is going on in your mind, ask yourself some questions. What is missing from my life? How can I get it? How can I bring that back in? How can I use that word magic or intentional today, right now, in this moment?
Yeah, yeah. But it's also like the way you think of it. Like there's a little
Yeah,
bit of a danger of applying magic to finances. You know, you don't want to cheat on your taxes and stuff. But when you start to
yeah,
look at, oh, well, you know what? It's not all that, like growing your wealth there's nothing magical about it. It's growing your income, cutting your expenses, and saving and investing the difference. But
yeah,
when you start to look at, like, I am the boss of it. I am the magician. I'm the one in control. I'm the one who's determining how much I'm
yeah.
spending. I'm intentional about it. Then things start to happen. I wrote an article. I published it yesterday, Janine, and I have
Mhm.
10 quotes in there to carry people through 2023. And one of them is because of you.
Oh, good. That's
Okay,
lovely.
so can I tell you where this came from? Because I know you're always like, okay, let's be positive, let's, you know, stop the negative self-talk, and we can choose to wake up and be happy or sad or grumpy. But one of my 10 quotes I have, it's okay to be cranky.
Hmm.
Okay, and this is from Carol Burnett. I'm not always optimistic. You wouldn't have all cylinders cooking if you were always like Mary Poppins.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
it's about being authentic. You know, it's I think for women especially, we have all these expectations piled on us, and then you get around the holidays, I can tell the difference between a fake smile and a real smile. Man, when I go out with my real smile, people are just looking at me odd, and
energy.
they're smiling back. You have all this energy, and there are days like you've got a cold. I'm still trying to get over this kind of long-term cold thing, and I'm not my bubbly self, you know. And it's like, and I can't fake it, like I said. So, I mean, that's the other thing that we have to give ourselves permission to have days where we don't see the magic, or have days where it's hard to stick with our intention. It doesn't mean that we have to be perfect. Nobody's going to be perfect.
And nobody, like, you don't want to be perfect. You just said a word that sparked something inside, and I've got my little pen here too, because in hypnotherapy and in coaching and in lots of areas of our life, it's like, if I have a magic wand in my hand and I wave it, what do you really want? It's finding that clarity and using the word of our year to find that. And you just said the word authentic, and I've just had a total mind swap about that word. Authentic was in my vocabulary a lot, but I was in a conversation the other day, and authentic has a limit, right? So when we say we want to be authentic, and if you choose that to be your word of the year, what does that really mean to you? Is it to be your real self, your true self as you are now? And how does that help you in growth? See what I mean? So it's like, authentic is who you are. Authentic is not necessarily who you're going to be, because that's not authentic, because it's not who you are. So it's really it's just changed a little bit for me when I hear the word authenticity and authentic. It kind of caps you. It kind of, it labels you that this is who you are right now. Do you know what I mean? I think it was a
Well,
really
that's interesting, because I
yeah,
think of who I am now versus who I was when I was working at a job, working in corporate, working with the
yeah,
nonprofit. And I mean, I've always been authentic. I mean, there's certain things about me I can't change, and I am who I am. But
I could question that, but I'll wait till you.
okay, ooh, this is getting deep. This is getting deep.
Right? I
But
am who I am.
but I remember just being. The thing is, I don't know, until I was on the road for like 3 months on my own. I don't think I really understood who I was.
Mm,
And I have changed. I have evolved. I have become more of a whole person. Who I
exactly.
thought I was somebody who ended up just doing things because she's supposed to. I've got to keep making this money. I've got this PhD. I have this fantastic career. That was what defined me. Yeah, I am who I am, but the meaning of it, the meaning of my life started to, and the tolerance of the bullshit that was there. It's like, I don't need to, I don't need to be around these people. I don't need to have this job. I mean, that's why
Yeah,
I became a financial coach, because it was a financial freedom that allows me to be out there.
yeah.
But it's interesting because probably in 10 years, I'll come back and I'll say, well, who I was in my late 50s is not who I am in my late 60s. That's okay. I'm
Mhm.
authentic either way, but to me, authentic evolves. But how many of us can be authentic when we have all these trappings of what society
Yeah.
expects of us? My
Expectation.
sociology is coming out.
Yeah. No, and that's perfectly right. I mean, you just said a moment ago, I am who I am and I can't change that. And then in the next sentence, you said, I've changed, because we can always change. And that's what I think authenticity has the potential to trap us in. It's not the same as being genuine, because genuine changes as we grow, and authenticity does as well. But I just wanted to bring that word up, the authentic, and to really start looking at words. I'm a wordie, you're a wordie. We love writing, we love words. We like looking a little bit deeper. And that's what I wanted to challenge you on, was I am who I am and I can't change that, which I think is a bunch of bullshit now. I never used to, because all of my life it was like, this is me, this is my fate, this is my deck of cards. And I was laughing when you were talking, because I could just imagine us, you and I, in the same corporate cage, working side by side, doing our thing, and just rolling our eyes at the BS that we had to encounter. Because like
Yeah,
you
yeah. But,
both
but
went
that's the
through.
thing that the thing that I can't change and I don't want to change about myself is that I am truthful. That
Mhm.
I'm, if I give you a compliment, it's a true compliment. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not going to ever be a fake person.
yeah,
So that's not, that's it. That is the core of
truthful.
me I mean, people can trust me. They can trust me to help them get to where they need.
Mhm.
I'm not going to suddenly turn into, I mean, a manipulative person. I mean, that's just not in me. So,
So
um,
that's your
that's okay.
values.
That's part of my personality. I mean, we all have our personalities, right?
Well, yeah, yes,
Yeah.
we do. But our personalities change over time as well, just as our values do. And you just mentioned truth and honesty, and those are values to you right now, and that's impeccable. Oh, that's a good word too. That's impeccable because you are your service, your service really needs those two so that you can work with people, right? In that capacity with trust and with honesty. And when I look at some of my values, I just sort of share them like wisdom and collaboration. I wanted to pull this one out here because this was the 13th of my value. So I sort of looked at the values as we can do with words. And I sort of said, I'm going to do this in January. I'm going to focus on this in January. And um, my overarching value is collaboration. So I'm going to integrate that too. So the word of the year is like the cherry on top, right? So
Okay.
now what's the intention? I'm not just going because I you know me and I know you. It's just like we've got ideas. Creativity is part of our whole makeup as well.
Yes. Yes. True.
Sometimes too many ideas. So I'm pulling back, and this is how intention can help you. What is your intention in anything you do? And so this is what collaboration looks like. We kind of froze, did we? Or is that me?
I'm okay.
Okay, we are
You're in the Yukon. Of course you froze.
racing. Um, Collaboration was really exciting. And I have always thought I'm a collaborator, but then I looked back at 2022 and I said, how have all of these values that are really important to me impacted my life, and how have I lived them? Like even on a motivational scale of 1 to 10, has it been, blah, or has it been awesome? And when collaboration came up, I said, it's been kind of blah. And so here you and I are collaborating intentionally with magic, and it's going to be wonderful. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's good. That
You
is
like
good.
that?
You are a wordsmith. Should we? I think we're beyond our time. Can you want to close out and tell people how to connect with you, and then I will share the same thing.
Well, no, I don't really
Or
want to, but I will.
we can talk after.
We can talk
You want to
after.
keep going?
Um, I just came across a few questions that I wanted to share that might help anybody
Okay.
watching get a little bit clearer on what they want as either their word of the year or in their values, sort of wake up every morning is, and I mentioned this one earlier, what is missing in your life? Because sometimes we don't know what we want until we find out what we don't want. And what is missing? What is missing in your life? Where is your life headed? Like going from 22 to 23. Do you like that path? Do you like the path that you're on? Or do you want to change it? Right? If you want to change it, look at the lies that you're telling yourself. What lies are you telling yourself? The most magical question: what lies are you telling yourself? That enters into intention in terms of your surface intention versus your hidden intention. And we can apply that to any area in our life, right? If you're going out for a cup of coffee with a friend, or you're having a conversation with somebody, what's your surface intention and what's really underneath it? What do you want? Because we all want things and we all want to give things, right? So it's really being curious, another of my values, and aware, another one, of what our intentions are. What are any goals for your personal life, and what are your goals for your professional life? So when you get clear, which you're blurry right now, but it's just
I am.
when you get clear on what you want and what path you want to take, that's when the pieces can come together, which is why, going back to this one, it's a puzzle. And how can we put those pieces together? So yeah, I can drop my details on how you can reach me. Um, I am following suit. One of my business collaborators, Dr. Brenda, is in this beautiful network where she's got some amazing stuff going on. I'll let you talk about it, but I'm following suit and I'm learning, which is why 2022 was a year of learning for me. There you are, you're clear now.
Wow, that was magical.
It was phenomenal. And that's the word I didn't choose because you can put intent into so many of these
Yeah,
words.
if only I could figure out like how to blur myself out on strategic occasions, huh?
Well, you'd have to ask what your intention on doing that would be. But I've got my community coming up, and self-care. I just did a mini masterclass in my group, the Soul Empowerment Lounge, yesterday on self-care and rituals. And that leads on to a free 3-day challenge that I'm putting out on self-care, which I'm going to be, launching on January the 1st in my group, and it's for free. In my Soul Empowerment Playground. So I haven't opened it up yet. I've got a couple of days left to do it. But it's my intention to bring that service to the people in my community and beyond, is to just allow yourself to really be free and wild, which are two other words that I was playing with. Like
I almost picked the word wild, Janine.
Wild was mine this morning just before I started. It was totally.
Yesterday I was talking to a friend. I said, I think maybe wild, and I'm like, no, I got to go back to that. But that's crazy.
And my alter ego, the one that I've been riding a horse on bareback across the beach, who comes in and steps in and helps me push through my procrastination and my limiting beliefs. Her name is Freedom Wild. And I said, I've already captured her in a character and in a part of me to step up when I need her, and to let go of Griselda, who's the one that keeps stepping up and trying to self-sabotage me. I'm having so much fun.
We should pick a month this summer and just be wild, because summer's my wild time. Summer is it. So we should have a theme for July or something.
Oh, July is the only month up here that's guaranteed to be relatively warm.
Okay, let's remember that. Let's have a wild July.
Well, it's funny because in looking through my values, I ended up on this one for July.
Fun.
Which
Absolutely.
can be wild.
Yeah, that's fun and wild go hand in hand.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I think I've got an idea for conversation next time, but we can talk about that later, because next year we'll be launching. I want to hear now about you and where we can find you.
Well, I'm really excited about 2023. I've got Monday night, I have a free workshop, and it's in gutsywomenfinances.com. I give you free access to it. Just sign up, and then you can join me for how to claim your superpowers in 2023. I have a premium program there called Wealth Builders. I've got our theme of the month, GYST, get your shit together. So my superpower is planning. I love to plan. I love to organize. I am the procrastinator. I can help you get everything in order. So our premium program is Wealth Builder. We've got a live workshop that allows you to participate on creating like 3 goals for 2023. And then later in the month, I have a workshop on habits, how to break a habit, how to create a new habit. So that's really exciting stuff. And then my Financial Freedom Accelerator is mid-January, January 14th through 16th. It's a 3-day thing. We've got 3 sessions, one on a Saturday morning, Sunday evening, and Monday evening. My focus has shifted to really looking at time, because financial freedom buys you the time to do what you want to do. So, a financial freedom is kind of a vague term, but hey, if you want to build the freedom to give yourself the time to enjoy life and do what you want to do, check out that Financial Freedom Accelerator. You can get to all of my stuff through Linktree, linktr.ee/Dr. Brenda U.
We'll drop the links in.
We'll put those links in here, and this has been fun, and I can't wait to hear what you've got.
You've got a lot going on. What's the one thing, if you want people to connect with you, would it be through Linktree? Because you've just given such a beautiful sort of summary of what
my heart and soul is in that mighty network. That's the platform that houses Gutsy Women Finances. So gutsywomenfinances.com. Join that community. I can give you all the love there. You've got stuff going on every day, and it's very easy to connect with me. You can just message me from there. I'm paying attention. I'm going to get back to you. It is such a rich platform. Janine is hopping on that platform this year, next year, next week,
Yeah.
right? So it's a great way to connect with other women and just find out about all the other resources.
That's wonderful, and it's magical,
And
it's
intentional.
intentional. I'm creating intention every day. When I wake up, my intention, and it's now a habit. We both work a lot with habits, and I think we should start January's conversations with habits and patterns, because that just speaks to the
Yeah,
world.
that's the biggie. That's the
Yeah,
biggie. So we could go the whole year with habits. So
yeah. But to
um
wake up in the morning, my intention is, because what happens the first thing when you wake up, there's that moment of bliss where you're like, oh, it's just coming out of, that alpha wave, brain wave, and coming back to consciousness. And then you come back to consciousness and you're like, oh, what was I doing before? What do I have to do? Where I have to, oh my gosh. And it can become overwhelming. So I've broken that pattern because it's very automatic
okay, I need
in most
3 seconds. Hang on, 3 seconds.
I can still talk while you're away. But what I've done to break it is I wake up, I notice it coming in, I notice the ants marching in, the automatic negative thoughts, ants, which is pretty cool. And I push them away and I just put a big smile on my face, kitty cat, huge
So this,
smile on my face. And
yeah.
I start to move my hands in bed and I start to feel and I start to move. And with that intention of doing that, it just creates a brand new space for me to step into and move those ants away, the automatic negative.
So this is my wake up cat. She, she's got a paw here full of claws, and she takes one claw and pokes me on the face. So that's my, when she wants to eat. That's my general wake up call. So that's her habit. I haven't been able to break her of the habit too much. So yeah, so that's my wake up, and then it's like, oh, I got cats here. This is cool. But anyway, I had to show off Isabella.
Oh, that's good. Cats, like, what in your life is giving you that magical wonder that helps you sort of wake up with a smile on your face? Whatever it is, whatever you've got, use it with intention and with wonderment and curiosity, all these good words. The magic wand, what do you really, really, really want in 2023? Where do you want to go? Do you want personal development and growth? Do you want to get rid of some of those limiting beliefs? Contact me. If you want to get, shift some of your financial mindsets, well, Brenda's the magical, wonderful
It's that
Wonder Woman.
energy,
Yeah.
build the energy, things will follow. Okay, well, we've got to close out. So thank
Hey,
you all for being here. And so let's stop the live, and we'll continue the conversation.
Happy New Year, first of all. Happy New
Yes,
Year. We're
Happy
going to be
New Year.
back.
See you
Yeah.
guys in 2023. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Bye.